It has finally happened. Double Lift has cracked the code and made it out of the group stage at an international event. Phil Murphy here in your ESPN Esports studios, and to talk about more MSI happenings, we welcome in from Los Angeles, the esteemed Miss Emily Rand. And Emily, let's jump right in to the news of the day. Double Lift makes it out of the groups. For mid laner Jensen, this is old hat. 5 international competitions, 4th time in the knockout stage. Now TL faces Invictus Gaming. How do they keep it going and get a win?
Ooh, that is tough. The issue, I think, is that IG are just a significantly better team mechanically, and I say that while acknowledging that this is the best team that TL has sent. They did make mechanical upgrades in mid and support, including Jensen, and then also Core JJ, who was the MVP pick of the spring split. But I think they have a lot of difficulty playing against a team that is as fast and as loose as IG. I think if they want to win against IG, it's going to rely on really specific drafting and strong execution of those drafts. So for example, we can't see them picking things that are meant to split push in side lanes and then trying to 5v5 fight with them regardless. That cannot happen. And then they're also going to have to hope that IG, pull out some of the showings that they had in LPL this past spring and just pressure team fights when they shouldn't and kind of snowball their own disadvantage, which we have seen them do. So a lot of it's not up to TL, actually. I think they kind of have to rely a bit on IG to shoot themselves in the foot, which honestly isn't out of the question. I can't stress this enough. This is my thing with IG, right? I always rant about how they can do themselves in. So that's definitely part of it. I do think this is a very strong uphill battle for TL, though, and I fully expect IG to take the win.
Emily, let's go to the other upcoming matchup, SK Telecom against G2. Looking at getting to the semifinals, Team Liquid had to beat G2, who had beaten SKT in this tournament once, who just beaten IG on Tuesday. It feels like outside of Team Liquid, G2, IG, SKT, they can all take games off of one another. So how does SKT get past G2?
So in a best of ones, I think all these teams can take games off of each other. In a best of 5, it's a lot different. With G2 and SKT, I think this is going to be a closer match than TL and IG, barring IG's, propensity to just shoot themselves in the foot. I think, G2 do a really good job of spreading out the map, and that's worked really well against SKT, actually. In their games against G2, we saw SKT, especially in their first game, just kind of slowly seeding these advantages, right? And SKT are really good at seeding advantages and then coming back and 5v5ing, but G2 didn't let them. They kept them spread out on the map. It was a great strategy against SKT. I recommend people do it. I do think SKT have adapted in this throughout this group stage. I think they've done a really good job of putting Teddy on early game carries and also letting Clid control the map early with early level 2, level 3 ganks. That's all great stuff to see from SKT. SKT shines a lot more in best of 5s than they do in best of 1s. So I actually think it could be a 3-2 for SKT based on how G2 has kind of struggled in their past few games.
Lastly, Emily, let's look back and remember the rest of the field. Quick moment of silence. And done. How would you grade the rest of the international competition at MSI?
So I actually think Flash Wolves performed better than I thought they would. Perhaps it's because I talked to Flash Wolves and Taiwanese League of Legends expert Xander too much, who has also been in these Bureau Cam sessions, who was very down on Flash Wolves going into this season. They lost a lot of their best players outside of Betty. And once again, they managed to win the LMS, and they actually took some games off of teams that we didn't think they would necessarily. So a lot of people were expecting Vietnam to step up on home soil and kind of take over that next in line position right below, North America, Europe, South Korea, China. But I think, Flash Wolves performed better than I thought. Fangbu Buffalo performed a little worse than I thought. I thought this would be a little bit better of a meta for them, and they had some strong players across the board. So, but yeah, I think what we saw is that these two regions are significantly a step below the top four, and that's kind of what we expected. Outside of, there was that shaky time period where it looked like TL might give their spot up to Flash Wolves.
There's a reason that Twitter handle is @LeagueOfEmily. She's the best in the business. Emily Rand, thank you as always. And for more League of Legends coverage from MSI, keep it locked right here on ESPN.com/esports.